Thank you, Lauren. First of all, the first poll question we have is for you to tell us what type of organization that you are representing. Government agency, municipality, nonprofit, private for-profit, community member, or other. All right, I think we've given everybody a chance. Lauren, do you want to share the results of the poll? Largely, the nonprofits are representing at 68%, which is not a surprise. So thank you for that. We'll go to the next item. Oh, before we go on, I just wanted to say that the format of this meeting is probably a little bit different than in previous times. There's not as many presenters and things on the agenda today, so I think that you could probably expect that the meeting will not last the full 2.5 hours. So if you need to plan, make changes and plan out your day a little differently, I expect that we will be, I would say, no more than an hour for this meeting today. So just with that being said, I'm going to introduce Trevor Ebersole from Valley Metro to provide some updates. Trevor? If you're talking, Trevor, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there we go.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Sorry about that.
No
Uh,
worries.
okay, so if we go to the next slide. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Trevor Ebersole with Valley Metro. I'm representing the paratransit and ride choice program for Valley Metro on these updates. And if we go into the next slide, I'll talk a little bit about how the programs are performing. So this is information for paratransit, our regional ADA paratransit program. And these values represent the time frame from July 1st of 2024 through April 30th of 2025. So our paratransit program has provided just over 242,000 one-way trips from July 1 through April 30th. Now, those trips are one of the units of measure that we base the quality or performance of the program on is how often are they on time. They can be on time in two fashions. One, as a pickup trip, somebody calls up and says, "Hey, I want to be picked up by 9 o'clock." We can measure that performance, and then also a customer might say they schedule their trip and they say they want to be dropped off by 9 o'clock. So we'll measure that performance as well. And that is the representation that you see here. For the pickup performance, we call it on-time performance. We've achieved a 89.01% pickup on-time performance for the duration of July 1, 24 through April 30th of 25. Our drop-off on-time performance is a bit higher. That's at 92.59%. Now, our goal that we're striving for is 95% or greater. That's what we want. That's a very aggressive goal, and we're closely managing, trying to achieve that. Something else that we measure are customer comments. We have a platform that customers can call in and they can give us compliments, they can register complaints, or they can make general comments. So what we found for the same time frame, that the bulk of our complaints that come in revolve around service delays. Those can come in a wide range of examples, as far as not being dropped off on time, not being picked up on time, they're on the bus too long, they're experiencing just delays overall. So from the time period of July 1 through April 30, we've received 432 comments on the system, primarily revolving around service delays. However, we've also received 115 compliments, or we call them kudos. So that's a great thing. We're finding that our kudos are on the rise, which is indicative of our performance getting better. So it's improving as well. Now on the operations, what we're working to do is improve the overall system performance, and we're doing that through management of our contractors. We have a contractor that performs the operation of the vehicles, and we have a contractor that performs the scheduling and routing of the vehicles. So we're working closely with those contractors to try to improve on the overall system performance. Our goals for FY25 are to enhance the customer experience through improving the overall system performance and reliability. That's the quick update on the paratransit performance. Next out, we'll be moving into the Ride Choice program. So same time frame with Ride Choice, and what we have here on paratransit, we had 242,000 one-way trips. On Ride Choice, we've provided just over 292,000 one-way trips. The service delivery for Ride Choice is a little bit different than paratransit. We measure this on-time performance in what we call on-demand or a pre-scheduled trip. In paratransit, it was a pickup or drop-off. So for Ride Choice, it's on-demand or pre-scheduled. An on-demand trip is you call up right now and say, hey, I want to be picked up and taken to the doctor. And the vehicle will arrive within 45 minutes to pick you up. And a pre-scheduled trip is you call outside of 45 minutes up to 2 weeks in advance and say, I'd like to be picked up tomorrow to be taken to my doctor's. And so those are the two categories that we measure. Well, our on-demand performance is 96.21%, which is outstanding. And our pre-scheduled, that's the one that we're really working on. That came in at 83.58%. So the customer comments around Ride Choice performance, again, is just like paratransit. They primarily revolve around the service delays. Their trip is taking too long, or they're not picked up quick enough, or they're not dropped off quick enough. So for Ride Choice, we've only received 157 total comments out of the 292,000 trips. And we've received 324 compliments or kudos. So there's a big shift there. We're receiving a large amount of kudos, which is fantastic. On the operations side, we have 13 providers, and of those 13 providers, we have 139 wheelchair accessible vehicles. So we're able to provide pretty much everybody in the Maricopa County with the type of service that they desire through this program. And our goals for this year are to work with our providers to improve that pre-scheduled performance. That's what we're finding is a lot of our providers are arriving early to pick up the customers, and that's outside of our that's outside of the pickup window that we have contracted them to do. So we're trying to work with them to be more timely, cognizant of the time to pick up the customers. And that is the update on paratransit and Ride Choice. Wendy, I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Trevor. That was interesting. Now that Ride Choice is for all of the Ride Choice across the region, correct?
That's for all the contributing agencies, and the boundary is Maricopa County.
Perfect. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Trevor related to the paratransit or the Ride Choice programs? I'm not seeing any. I just got a note from the city of Phoenix. They will be running a little bit behind, and we're going to move their update after the mobility manager's update. So with that, we will
Eleanor
move.
did jump on, so I'm
Oh,
not sure
she's
if
on.
yes.
Oh, okay. Eleanor, if you're here and ready, then we will go to you. If you need a minute, we can move to the mobility managers.
Hello. Sorry about that. I was having a little bit of trouble with my computer.
That's okay.
The update is that our grant was awarded, so you should be receiving some of the grant application or the contracts from Linnell anytime soon.
And this is the fiscal year 24 grant was awarded?
Correct. Yes.
Perfect. Excellent news.
Yes. It was awarded on the 15th.
And you might have seen or might not have seen, they also issued the final apportionments for the fiscal year 2025 funding. So we got notice of the funding for the region on that as well. So
Yes.
perfect.
And that concludes our update.
Due to the timing of everything, usually at this time, a lot of stuff is done, that the competitive selection process is done for the year. So I will open it up though. Do we have anybody on that has a question for the City of Phoenix? I'm not seeing any questions. With that, we will move to the next item, which is, oh, sorry, yes. Before we introduce the mobility managers, we have a little different question you may not have seen before. What we are doing before the mobility managers present is we're trying to find out what workshop topics are you most interested in. We're going to give you a couple extra minutes on this one because there's a lot of options. So we want to know what you or you think your agency staff are most interested in for workshop topics. So we'll give you a chance to place your votes in on that. And just noting for Lauren, we're also getting some comments in the chat, which is wonderful as well. So making sure we capture that. Okay, hoping we gave everybody enough time. This one, I don't think we're going to share the results of this today. We'll share it in a future meeting. We're going to be asking you lots of questions today, hopefully to get some feedback from you all. So hold for more information on that. So with that, we will move to the next, the Subregional Mobility Managers meeting. And I hope we're going to go in order that it comes on the screen. We're going to start. Lauren, if you know who's in order, maybe you should announce who's coming next.
They're in order as they are on the screen.
Okay, perfect. So we'll open it up, Billy Parker, to give his update.
Thanks, Wendy, and thanks, Lauren. And it's good to see all the names up there on the screen. My name's Billy Parker. I'm Executive Director of Chandler Gilbert ARC. I've been a sub-regional mobility manager since 2014, and have also done 5310 proposals and been involved in the program since 1994. So I thought I would just give up a little bit of updates on some of the trainings that I do and just some other things that I do as a sub-regional mobility manager. We have a couple trainings. It's a moving target and Let Me Out of This Box, which have now been changed in name due to popular demand to advocacy, collaboration, and resource sharing, and then vehicle and resource sharing. And another point to make out of these trainings, I really try to kind of look at whatever contemporary issues are that we're dealing with and kind of pattern the trainings after them and and try to really work them more as guided discussions. But to just give sort of a snapshot of some of the things that we work on. One is vehicle loaning, which I used to call vehicle sharing, which is a program that Chandler Gilbert Arc has done. And we have developed partners that we actually loan our vehicles to. The most significant partner is Valley Center of the Deaf, who still uses our vehicle from time to time, or multiple vehicles sometimes. And I do a whole training on just how to loan your vehicle and kind of work through insurance and all of those kind of different pieces to that. So that's one. Vehicle disposals is another one that I've spent a lot of time working on. Wendy and I have worked together on the policy a few times, and I also now incorporate that into training that I do with the goal being to sort of take the policy that's developed and kind of make it user friendly from a perspective of a provider that's got a vehicle that they want to dispose of. And so at any point, if you have vehicle disposal questions or concerns, I'll probably cover it in a training, or I'm always willing to just take calls, emails, or whatever, and meet with anybody. I've also spent some time working on personnel and recruitment as a training topic. Also DEI, and also the use of pronouns in business. And then one of the most recent ones I started doing was the Arizona legislature Request to Speak program, which is a really great program, especially for agencies that are funded by government dollars. There's a whole option within the Arizona legislature where you can apply and be recognized and actually vote and on legislative issues. It's all very interesting. So, and it's something that a lot of states don't do, but Arizona does. And so it's something that I really appreciate and enjoy sharing. So just other updates. Been in touch with Gretchen who's the long-term care ombudsman with the Area Agency on Aging. And we're just talking about some collaboration ideas. Working with Stephanie on revising the vehicle disposal guidelines to reflect the new cost threshold, or the new threshold for the amount of money that you can take, which is an important piece to that policy. Met with Benavia regarding vehicle loaning, and our current vehicle loaning arrangement with Valley Center of the Deaf is still in place. Other than that, that's most of the updates. Also, actually, Chandler Gilbert Arc is selling a building too. So if anybody knows anybody or is interested in about a 5,800 to 6,000 square foot building for program space or for whatever, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and love to talk to you about it.
Billy, it looks like you have a question in the chat from Yale Younger. When is an appropriate time to dispose of a 5310 vehicle? Is it based on the age of the vehicle, mileage, condition?
Great question. There's different rules about disposing of vehicles. In most cases, it's best to dispose of them when they're considered to be beyond their useful life, which it means different things for different vehicles. If it's a vehicle with a lift, it's a different amount of time than if it's a vehicle without a lift. So I think, don't quote me on it, but I think it's 5 years, 100,000 miles on non-lift vehicles, and maybe 6 years, 150 on lift vehicles. I'm not positive about that, but
Close.
that's useful life. I'm close. Okay, good.
On the non-ADA vehicles, it's 4 years and 100,000 miles. And on the vehicles with the lifts, the ADA vehicles, it is 5 years and 150,000 miles.
5 years. Okay, thank you, Wendy.
Sure.
That said, in addition to that, people can dispose of vehicles that are not beyond their useful life. There's just a whole different set of rules that goes along with that too, just depending on the circumstance, and there's a whole lot of other details around that, different ways that you can do that.
Thanks, Billy. I appreciate that. And I'll add to that the FTA rules are that you can do it after that period of time, the 5 years, 150 or 4 years, 100,000. But typically what we found in this program is that they tend to use the vehicles much longer than that. So the mileage doesn't always rack up as fast as regular transit service vehicles do. So they tend to last a lot longer. Are we penalized if we dispose of the 5310 vehicle before the years/mileage? Yale, that depends. And I would say that the best course of action in that circumstance is to reach out to the City of Phoenix staff who can walk you through what your options are. Sometimes they can allow you to see if another agency might need it and take it over so it still could be used. There's different options. So my suggestion is if you have that specific circumstances to reach out to Stephanie Rangel or Eleanor at the City of Phoenix and ask that question.
Wendy, to add to that too, I think am I correct that if you dispose of a vehicle that's not beyond its useful life, you are ineligible for applying for another vehicle in the following year? Is that correct?
In the guidelines that we've done for programming for this program, it is a 2-year. Like if you take on to purchase a vehicle and you're promising through the grant that you're going to be operating it for throughout its useful life, and you determine that things have changed and you want to do it early, there is a 2-year moratorium. You will not be able to apply for a vehicle for 2 years. Doesn't mean you couldn't apply for preventive maintenance or other things, but we just want to discourage quick disposal of vehicles before their useful life. But there are options in those circumstances as well.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Not seeing any more questions for Billy, then we'll move on to the next update from Justin McGregor from STARS. Justin?
Thanks, Mindy. Like when you said, Justin McGregor. So I have a few trainings upcoming, driver safety training, preventive maintenance training, and a new one rolling out here soon, fleet program setup training. So I'm sure many of you have already attended the trainings, and look forward to seeing you guys in the upcoming trainings.
Perfect.
And Wendy, I did want to say thank you to Justin for hosting our last pass training and giving me a wonderful training space to be able to do that and providing the vehicle. So thanks, Justin.
No problem.
Fantastic. This region is so filled with resources and people that are willing to help. It's always nice to have that. So thank you. Yes, Justin, we appreciate it. And we're looking forward to learning more about the new training, the fleet program setup training. Do we have any questions for Justin before we move on to the next slide? I'm not seeing any. So we'll move on to TCH, the Centers for Rehabilitation, Don Hocking and Dan Smaller. I'm not sure who's going to talk first, so I'll introduce Don, and if it's Dan, I'm sorry.
Dawn's actually not here today. Excuse me. So it is me. It's Dan Smoller. I am the fleet and facility manager for TCH. We have technology for fleet management coming up on September 24th. I actually just did one for that same topic, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago. And there'll be a compliance one that Dawn will do upcoming on June 11th in a few weeks. So look forward to that. As you know, as always, we're here for any questions, concerns, anything that we can do to help.
Thank you,
Feel free to
Dan.
reach out with any questions. Thanks so much, Wendy.
We appreciate it. Is there any questions for Dan regarding his trainings or TCH in general? Okay, not seeing any. And then we'll move on to Mark Botterbush from Gompers.
Turn my screen on because I need to get you guys a picture. I thought everybody had a camera on their slide. So real quick, I'm the executive director at Gompers, and kind of my MAG history. I was a mobility manager in 2020 through 2023, and then handed that off to the VP. And now as a result of her moving on, I'm stepping back into the role. So I kind of feel like I'm a little out of the loop a little bit with new trainings and things going on. But we continue, one of the big ones we continue to do is the transporting passengers with special needs, which was just done in March 21st and April 11th, which is scheduled again August 8th and 15th at 2 via Zoom. To point out though, that's not the same training done twice. That's it's a series, so one leads into the next one. So it's not two of the same trainings, as well as we have our de-escalation training June 27th at 2 via Zoom. And then moving forward, kind of since I'm back in this role, we used to do a lot helping agencies. We helped several get started when they had new vans, paperwork, that kind of stuff. We've helped agencies who need a van with a driver to go to an event or an activity. So just want to put out there that we're more than happy to help in any way we can, whether you come to our location or we come on site and provide assistance. I remember during the catalytic converter era, we helped a lot because we had found, really good cat cages and things like that. So just want to make sure everyone knows if we can help in any way, we're more than happy to.
Thank you, Mark. Are there any questions for Mark about his training or Gompers in general? We have a quiet group today. No questions. All right. Well, that brings us to the Regional Human Services Transportation updates, and I get the pleasure of providing those today. I think we already covered the staffing changes at the beginning when we introduced ourselves. I will be managing the program for the foreseeable future with Lauren's assistance, of course, until we determine replacing staff and putting this on the path that we're looking to do in the future. So, sorry, I got distracted here. Mark, would vehicle sharing be utilized if our big Starcraft is in the shop and we borrow one from Gompers? Mark or even Billy with vehicle sharing, do you guys want to answer Yale's question from the chat regarding vehicle sharing?
Sure, I can answer that. Vehicle sharing could certainly be an option under a circumstance like that, as long as the required prerequisites are taken care of and that there's agreements between both organizations. So, for example, people that Valley Center of the Deaf that shares vehicles with us, there's a whole process we go through where they apply for it. There's a vehicle sharing application, a vehicle sharing agreement. There's a whole bunch of insurance stipulations, whereby we have to be put on the user's insurance as secondary, or they get put on our insurance as secondarily insured, and the user also has to have rented and non-owned rider on their policy. So in answer to your question, that certainly could be an option, but it's something that needs to happen in advance so that can happen, so that the sharing can happen when it needs to.
Thank you, Billy. I appreciate that.
Sure thing.
And so I wanted to just kind of give an update on the entire human services transportation section and the services that we provide here. We have back when Dee Dee was still here, we had begun undergoing a study for best practices in human services transportation. So we reached out and we're working with several different metropolitan planning organizations and some designated recipients across the country. We looked at Puget Sound, Washington, Galveston, Houston, Texas, Salt Lake City, Utah, Atlanta, Georgia, and Denver, Colorado, to do some benchmarking and see how does our program match up with what others are doing across the nation? What kind of best practices do they have that we could learn from and maybe implement them in our region? And also looking at the competitive selection process and how they do it and what other things we can glean from there. And the study's not yet completed, but we hope to share those results with you in the next couple of months after everything wraps up. And that state of the practice study is kind of the first step in the process that we're using to reevaluate and look at the program and see how we can do some improvement and changes for the better. And so with that, we also need feedback and information from you all. So there will be a lot of opportunities for us to reach out to you. We're going to do some surveys. We're going to do probably we're going to launch in the next year the coordinated plan update. And as you know, it's a requirement for the participants of the Section 5310 program to participate in a coordinated planning process. And currently, we use the TAP meetings as a way for you to participate in that process. But one of the biggest drivers of it is our coordinated plan, our regional coordinated plan. That's where we have strategies to address gaps in the services that we provide in the region and so forth. So we want to do an overhaul and reach out and find out what kind of needs do you all have? What are you experiencing? How can we improve and make this better and capture that as part of the plan update? So with that being said, we want to send out a survey I'm not exactly sure of the timing that we're going to do this. It will be relatively shortly. We want to give an opportunity for you guys to tell us, how is this program going? How are we doing? What are you needing from us that we're not providing, or what are you getting that's great and that we should keep doing? So we really, truly want your honest feedback. There is nothing here that would hurt our feelings or bother us. We truly want the real information from you all on how we could make this program better. And starting with that, we're going to ask you a few questions after I'm done speaking here. We'll move to that in a second. We're going to do just a 3 or 4 poll questions, quick ones, just to kind of get your idea about the TAP meetings. So the first one is we're going to ask some questions about the TAP meetings, and we really want you to give us your honest feedback. And then after that, we'll wrap up the meeting and we will be reaching out to you with, I think it's like a SurveyMonkey survey that we really want your honest feedback. And again, the information that we're going to be taking from this is, how truly are we going to serve you better? What do you need? What trainings do you need? Are the meeting frequencies correct? Are we doing something that you need, something that you don't need? We just want to know everything. And don't be shy. Don't be afraid that none of the feedback or the information that you're providing in any way, shape, or form will be shared with anyone else, and nor will it be utilized against you in any way. It doesn't have anything to do with your funding or that process. We are really looking for feedback and ways that we can improve this program. And I know you all have some super great ideas, and we're looking forward to getting those. So without further ado, I'm going to ask that Lauren bring up the first poll question.
And this one is set up so once you answer the first one, you can go ahead and scroll, just to keep scrolling.
Oh,
so you can get those.
keep scrolling. So the
Mhm.
first one is, how satisfied or dissatisfied are you with TAP meetings as they are now? In your opinion, are the lengths of the TAP meetings too long, just right, or too short? Now, this one is really short because we're trying to establish how we want to do them in the future and make sure that we're giving you good content and information that's helpful to you all. So we really want to know. In the past, they were scheduled for 2.5 hours, and in the future, we want to know is the length of the meeting right, but maybe they're held too often or not often enough. So the next question is the frequency of the TAP meetings. Is it too often, just right, not often enough? And then overall, in your opinion, as they are now, are the TAP meetings valuable to you? Are you getting the content that you need that assists you in this program? Or is there more we can give, less we can give, or different things we can give? Just in general, these are kind of yes or no questions, or just simple response questions. But in the future, the survey that we're going to send out is going to have an opportunity for you to expand on your answers and give us more information. I see a question in the chat. Oh, you submitted too soon. Well, Dixie, I appreciate that. I don't know if she can resend you the survey or not, but if you have, if you don't mind sharing, you can send me or Lauren an email with your responses and we can record those. It's however you want to do it. And I'm pausing to give you guys just a little bit of time to finish answering those questions. And with that, I'm going to, while everybody's finishing that up, I'm going to open it up for questions. Does anybody have any questions or concerns or ideas that they want to share? Up to you, not necessary, but we're always willing to take your feedback. Well, once again, we're going to have lots of opportunities in the upcoming season to have you share with us. I imagine that with the update to the coordinated plan, there will be focus groups or meetings or other ways that you are going to be able to respond and help us determine the path of human services transportation in the coming months. So be prepared for being asked maybe a couple of different times in a couple of different ways how we can better serve you. So with that ends really our meeting. Again, I told you this one was going to be really, really short. The next TAP meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, August 19th. We will return to a more regular meeting style. We will have a spotlight, an agency spotlight at that meeting. And we will look forward to hearing your feedback and look for a survey coming out from us. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday, everybody.